Fireside Chat. My name is Matthew, joined by Eric and Jacob. Howard is out. He is on a panel for, Eric's going to say it because I've already forgotten.
He's at the School of Visual Arts on their jury panel for their thesis projects. This is the school that all of our artists went to. So this is the thing that Howard does every year, I believe.
Yeah, so he won't be with us, but I do see that we're having a little bit of a rhyming contest based off my word test to make sure the chat was working and I was signing the right account. So congrats to Maverick and Sammy B for all your rhymes of the word test. This week we're going to be talking about the testing that's happening Sunday. This time it's different, Sunday. Seeing if I can grab some different people. I love all the normal Saturday guys, but as many great views as we get. So Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern. So as always, the email went out. If you didn't get it, sign up somewhere else or sign up on the experimental crew. If you need a code again, let me know. If you need codes for your friends, let me know. If you want your family, neighborhood, town, let me know, and we'll get you all in.
A whole town would be great.
So we're going to be talking a little bit about the changes you guys can see from that, the blog post that went up about co-op mode and all the work we've been doing on that, really the day in the office, how it's been going, and answering questions as we ramble on throughout all that. So first things first, what can we expect to see on Sunday, Eric?
On Sunday for testing?
Yeah.
Wait, what's going on? Oh, okay. They got moved to Sunday. All right. So, I mean, we're gonna put in a lot of fixes and feedback that we got from last time. We're gonna be testing stamina again with all the changes. I've also done a lot of work to balance out the complaints about gunner stamina versus carronade or with carronade. So basically you can say this is a carronade nerf when it comes to using carronades and stamina at the same time. So check it out. I did a couple of things. Hopefully that puts carronade into a more acceptable state. The other thing was, okay, so last time we tested, we changed the flamethrower so that it would not penetrate any of the components. People didn't like it. They felt it was useless, so it'll penetrate just a little bit. I'll leave it at that.
So we definitely want to see what you guys think of that. Feedback from the first one was great, which is why we're having the second one. See if we, are getting more in sync, making it fun. So definitely check it out. Sunday, 2 p.m. I'll yell about it a couple more times throughout the stream, so I won't ramble too far on that now. The second part is, I guess, co-op mode. You all saw the blog post, I'm sure, because the first thing you do when you get up is go to gunsvickers.com, check out the new news, or check our Twitter. But basically, we got to talk about all the modes that are coming out, Assault, Retrieve, and Raid, I believe are the titles for them.
No,
it's Defense still?
Yeah, it's Defense. I don't know why Howard wanted to change it to Raid. It's super confusing. But the three modes, these are placeholder titles for the time being. It's Defense mode, that is the Defense mode that we've always been talking about. Retrieve, so Defense and Retrieve are actually things that we've tested in the past at PAX and stuff like that. And then finally, Assault mode, which is the thing that we're currently prototyping now. And if we have time, maybe we'll have a fourth. We don't know yet. But so far, things are shaping up to be pretty good. With Assault mode, we've ironed out a lot of the kinks, and we think, we're pretty confident that this can work. It's stretching our AI director in places that we never thought it would go, so we have to do some work to restructure a couple of things. In general, Assault mode, the map style is very open, and if you read the blog post, we're randomly placing your objectives, so you'll have to go from Outpost 1 to then the final base, and those are all be randomly placed within positions in the map. And because of that, the AI is having a little bit of trouble pathing and trying to find you and so forth. So we're restructuring their patrolling behavior to hopefully take care of some of those issues. But yeah, it's coming along.
And we have our first question, which is about the blog post. It was mentioned there are 6 new ships and weapons that can be unlocked through faction progression. Does that mean that to unlock everything, a player has to play all sides of the conflict, or can a player maintain faction loyalty and still unlock new ships and weapons?
You're going to have to play for all 6 factions. That's so far the plan. If we have a lot like major kickback against that, maybe we can think of something else to allow you to be with one faction the entire time and unlock everything else. Well, I have an idea right now, but I'll mull on it a little bit longer before I say anything, and set anything in stone. But for the time being, again, you'll have to play for each of the 6 factions, and I think that's pretty cool. You get to experience all the 6 perspectives in the world. That's basically how we're looking at it.
All right, and are the new ships just reworked versions of faction enemy ships we'll be fighting, or something new entirely?
Oh man, I mean, I would say it's definitely something new entirely. Of course, the faction enemy ships do have the visual look and style of what we want these factions to be like. So yeah, of course, your player ship will have the same visual style to it. But man, those enemy airships, you can't even walk on them. That's the way we control them. They're super simple. So to answer your question, they're not reworked, but yeah, visual styles will remain intact.
Right. New ships, same theme.
Yeah.
I guess, and then is there anything else we really want to? I guess that's touching a little bit on progression. Did you want to share a little bit about your vision for the bigger scale of progression?
Okay, so just to review, everyone will have their own self progression. Doesn't matter what faction you join, they'll be progressing their own character, which will unlock points that they can invest to upgrade their various skills. So each class will have its own progression. You level up the pilot, you get pilot skill points to level up your pilot skills, etc., etc. That's the plan so far. So you can just improve the various class-based skills across a limited access. And then after that, you'll have your faction-based progression. So this is you, yourself, the player, within a faction and unlocking all their stuff. So this means you'll be the matches that you play for a faction will increase your reputation and your level within the faction. And then finally, the big overarching progression is world progression. This is how well your faction is doing in the world itself. The main way we're thinking about having players interact with the world is the first thing you see pretty much in co-op mode is you'll see this big world map, and in the blog post I actually say it's hey, think of some of the classic board games like Risk. It takes place on a world map, and you have your characters and pieces across the board. There are other games like Small World and stuff like that, but this is basically the biggest visual indicator of your faction's status in the world. How many locations or territories or whatever, how much do you own, what are you conquering, what are you defending? And this is all going to be tied with each location providing some kind of resource for you. And accumulating these resources, when you hit a certain threshold or requirement, it'll trigger different events like a war. Let's say, oh man, the Caledonians, if they accumulate 20 wood, it'll start a war or something like that. So that's the way in which we're thinking about bringing the world progression, and it's actually inspired by a lot of the classic board games that you might have played and enjoy.
And the next question is, when is co-op coming out anyways?
That is always a tough question to answer, but we hope this year. That's the best answer we can give. It's always with us in independent development. It's it's done when it's done. The last thing we want to do is ship a super buggy product. We've been there and it's not fun, so we want to polish it up, get all the systems working, and balance as best as we can balance them before shipping it out. But hopefully we can get all that wrapped up by the end of the year. But if you pre-order or part of Kickstarter and stuff like that, we hope to get an alpha beta test to you guys sometime in summer. So that's coming up very soon.
Yeah, and it's definitely, as you guys got to see from the screenshots and the video, definitely coming along very well. So it's not it's totally being worked on. We're very happy to get to show off all the cool things that are happening back there. And as always, especially if you're, a backer or someone who's supporting us, we are here to answer any questions you could have. So it doesn't even just have to be Friday. Always shoot us an email about anything. Like that's literally half my job. Keep me working, guys. Keep me busy. So I guess anything happening in the office, anything exciting behind closed doors?
More or less the same. We're busy working on co-op related stuff. Anything exciting or unusual? Not really. I'm not in the office today, so I'm not sure. I think the artists are interviewing potential art interns today, but I could be wrong.
So if they find someone they like, what will the art intern be doing?
They always have a lot of stuff to do. It's producing assets. I mean, 6 airships, 6 new weapons for co-op mode. That's already a handful of work on top of all the maps and stuff that they'll need to create. There's always plenty of work for the artists to churn out. So the art interns will definitely be lending a helping hand to do all that sort of stuff.
All right. So if players choose to ally certain factions through the world progression, if other players move against those allied forces, would enemy ships spawn with enemy AI from 2 or more separate factions? Because I can imagine there would be some pretty powerful boss ship combinations.
Well, how it'll work is, let's say I am a Yeshin player, and there are nearby Arashi territories that I can attack. So the system will decide, okay, you can attack the Arashi because they're nearby. I pick the Arashi. It will automatically choose a territory that is most applicable. So we're trying to limit the choice here and stray away from edge cases. So it'll automatically choose an Arashi territory. So what this means is that when the match starts, I will be fighting only Arashi airships. It doesn't really care about who is on my side of the team. Sure, I'm Yesha, but who knows what Matchmaker will do? Who knows how many players will be on? It'll try to match it as best as possible. There will be some unusual cases like, well, I'm not actually playing Arashi, but we'll have to make it forgiving somehow, because otherwise you're not going to get into any matches. But we'll try its best to match you up with other, players of the same faction. But you will always be playing the same faction, at least for the time being. That's how we have it set up.
All right. And then, are you guys happy with the current state of the Minotaur, or are there more changes on the way? And what are the future ideas for new guns?
Minotaur is tricky because it was designed to be a support weapon, but when is support really that useful? People are saying it will be like the Harpoon. Yeah, maybe you're right. But at the same time, it's like there's a lot of potential for this weapon to be just overpowered. So any suggestions to making it more viable as a standalone weapon are, of course, welcome. Immediate plans, no, we don't really have anything right now. We're just focusing on the next batch of changes, like stamina will be a big one. So perhaps that will augment the use of the Minotaur even further after we get those changes pushed. New weapons. Oh man, we had a meeting. That's a cool thing that happened in the office this week or last. But we had a meeting about all the different new mechanics for weapons in co-op mode for both the bosses and the players. We've been playing a lot this week with some new stuff. You've seen some lightning stuff that the boss uses. Well, now there's a player gun that involves lightning or Tesla, whatever you want to call it. So we've got that. We've also got a potential Chalidonia weapon. I personally have not gotten a chance to play around with it yet. In fact, I probably should do that right after the call, but I don't want to say too much about it just yet.
When can we expect stamina?
When can you expect stamina? What was it? If things go well, I believe we're going to release at the end of the month. I need to double check the calendar again.
And you can also expect it this Sunday at 2 p.m.
Yes, also you can always expect it and testing days.
I'd like to see something for the Minotaur, a more visible trail from the shot fire to get a better idea.
Yep, we're working on it. Same with the Carronade. It's just the issue with, the raycast weapons don't shoot any projectiles, so we need a particle effect to simulate something being shot out. So hopefully we can, the artist can cook something up. I know they're working on things of that nature right now, but I have not seen it. Maybe it's in dev app right now, I'm not sure.
All right, and then Sammy has some practice mode enhancements he'd like. So dummy ships instead of dummy targets, so enemy goldfish, spires, whatnot. And then second, the ability to force stop ships, as stopping the drift on ships is near impossible. Oh, and third, faster respawns. No reason for long respawns.
Yeah, definitely. If you don't mind, Sammy, typing that up in an email and shooting it to us at feedback, that would be great. Those are all reasonable suggestions. Whether or not we can execute on those might be a little tricky because, especially off the top of my head, respawn time is a global variable. It affects all matches, so I'm not sure if there's a way we can work around that without doing something really nasty, but we'll see.
All right, and then quick question, what will adventure mode be so I can install Guns of Icarus again? So co-op mode, if you pre-ordered it or you Kickstarter backed it, you'll get we're looking at the summer, really, for the start pulling in testers. So if you're really looking for the PvE aspect, like you're done with the PvP, you want more blowing bots out of the sky, that's when you should be looking around for it. But thank you for checking us out, Nelson. Will there ever be a mini plane that can depart from a main airship you can fly?
No, not in the current plans.
Speaking of practice mode, can the dev team possibly getting around to adding all the maps to practice mode?
Yeah, this is a long-standing request. We've thought about it. Possible. The main thing was, well, you only have what four ships, right, on practice on the same team. How does that work, right?
Yeah, I think it goes up to 2v2 at most.
Right. Yeah, I mean, the main reason why we didn't want to do that was it's like, oh, this is another way players can get out of the matchmaker. But at the same time, a lot of people have been complaining that they're not playing with their friends or rematching or whatever, and it's like, well, why aren't you using custom game? So there's an opportunity to get out of matchmaker now, but people aren't using it. So I think now in light of that new information, we can consider practice mode with all maps a little more seriously. But there may be some other technical issues with that. We have to figure out a way to duplicate that. Anyway, that's all complicated stuff. We'll think about it. That's
it was off the docket. It's back on the docket to be thought about internally. Thank you for bringing it up. That's the short version.
Too many things need to be thought about. Yeah. Sorry if I ramble.
Oh, no. There's always a very complicated behind the scenes for all this. Practice mode doesn't have scores, however. I myself would treat it like a sandbox if all the maps were added. Yeah, definitely. Like, when it was first brought up, Matchmaker was just coming in, and we had a lot of concerns about the way it would run with all the players, so now that we see how it's being worked and how, people use Matchmaker even though, custom game's there, we'll definitely check it out, so. I assume the cross-play with PS4 will require both the PC and PS4 games to be on the exact same update. How difficult do you expect it to be keeping both platforms up to date?
That is a good question. Well, all we know is that, we can run cross-platform in some limited capacity. So right now, it's like we don't know how voice works on the PS4. But yes, you can play on Steam and PC and play with people on PS4, so that's totally doable. We've done it. Keeping them up to date, well, we've never had to update. Like, we haven't been on the PlayStation Store for any of our products, so we don't know what that update process is like. I know PlayStation games just update on their own, but regarding how difficult it is to initiate one of those processes is unclear to us. With Steam, it's just like we just push it and you guys get the update. It's no problem. Perhaps it's similar on PS4. So if it's as easy as it is for pushing updates for Steam, then it shouldn't be a problem. But don't know.
Well, one of the wonderful things we get to explore and learn about.
Yeah, indeed.
Where is tab lockdown on the docket? So basically, when you press tab, it switches to the mouse menu mode instead of being able to move. So when you pull up when you press tab, you see all the people's names and what ships are on. Before, when you pressed it, you could still move around and do everything. Now it brings up the mouse so you can click on people's names.
Right. What was the question?
When it is it ever going to go back to the way it was before? Like, I feel like it was talked about at one point, but
yeah, I don't think so, because we need that mouse activity there existing on that screen. If you can think of a way that we can provide all that feature, that mouse interactivity in some, intuitive manner when you're, press tab after that, we'll think about it. But right now, the way we have it set up is like, yeah, we need to be able to like mute people and like, all that stuff in the tab menu. That's the only place where we have access to all those people. I mean, the main reason for this is if someone is being abusive on voice chat and you want to block them. That's actually a pretty serious concern for us, and people are abusive on the internet in general, so we want to allow people just to make people stop. That's the main reason.
For the new maps in co-op mode, has Muse been playing around with any new weather effects aside from lightning, like new types of wind, like tornadoes, or maybe harmful hail that can damage ice components that need to be whacked off, or, I don't know, firestorms, whatnot?
Yeah, I mean, we have a weather system in place, and we want to definitely look at that again and actually put it into some serious use and have very obvious types of weather with very palpable effects. I mean, sandstorms, right now are they're if you know what to look for, you can figure it out, but they're kind of opaque and unclear. We definitely want to go to like next level weather system in co-op mode. We've definitely talked about it before, but right now we're busy doing the underpinnings for all the game modes.
And hello, Battle59. You said hi, so I will say hi back.
Hello.
Welcome to the Dev Fireside Chat. If you have any questions about Guns of Icarus, the games industry, anything at all, just let us know. For the people talking about the tab lockdown thing and saying there were a lot of suggestions before, if they were on the forum or something, I've lost them personally. I don't remember where that forum thread went, so I'll always say, send me an email with your suggestions for it. We'll definitely check them out. If there's a very intuitive way to make sure people have the ability to, mute and report, foul players and still have that control that you want, we'll definitely look at it. From what I've seen with other PC games that move to console, CSGO, Payday 2, Warframe, Terraria, etc., the devs decided that it was too much of a hassle to keep both platforms up to date. Their solution was to keep the PC on the newest version at all times, and console games got periodic groups of updates. I hope you don't bite off more than you can chew, being the first next-gen cross-play game.
Wait, so you're saying Warframe supports PC, PS4 cross-platform play?
No, he's saying that Warframe keeps the PC one up to date, and they only do PS4, or they only do the PlayStation updates in big groups. So they don't do them as often; they just do them in big batches.
Sure. I mean, it's. I don't know what engine these guys are using, but if we get our PS4 Unity workflow working correctly, and we can basically, because how it works right now is we've got some stuff that's specific for Mac, some stuff that's specific for Linux, some stuff that's specific for PC. But at the end of the day, if we're smart about structuring all of us, and we were from the beginning, is that we just press one button and we make all three builds simultaneously. So that's how we can upkeep all desktop applications up to date simultaneously. So hopefully, when we get to the PS4, that's just the fourth platform on our list, and we just press that one button and we can shoot out another build. Again, this will be highly dependent on what the update process is for on PlayStation side, because again on desktop we're just all through Steam, so that's easy.
And for IR Brick, yes, those are the headsets I'm wearing. But for the Guns of Icarus question, are there going to be new planes or new ships and guns? So in co-op mode, there are going to definitely be new player ships. Are those ships planning on going back to PvP mode at all, though, after co-op's release?
That is a good question. We've talked about it before. So what'll be very different is that the play experiences between skirmish and co-op mode are quite different. I mean, in skirmish mode, you are only facing against 4 enemies at any given time. Most likely, you're only facing 2 or 3. In co-op mode, you're facing upwards of like dozens of enemies at any given time, from airships to enemy airplanes, which are going to be the bulk. So you're getting shot at from all kinds of places, front, back, left, right. So the most versatile ships in co-op mode are ones with guns facing in all kinds of directions. So like we fly the Mobula, but it's kind of hard. You have to turn around in case an enemy sneaks up to your like left side or something like that. So the ship designs for co-op mode will be catered to the co-op experience. So there'll be guns in the back, in all kinds of directions. So whether or not those make it into PvP skirmish mode is still to be decided. Same with the guns. The guns are their new mechanics will be very specific to co-op mode, mainly in that since you have a lot of enemies, dealing a lot of AoE damage or targeting multiple enemies simultaneously is the way that we're looking at things right now.
All right, and someone's saying, I hope there will be an option to only play with people on your platform for both PC and PS4. There probably won't be. I mean, it's our job to make sure that the PS4 version is just as viable to play on as the PC, so you're not a detriment to your team. So we're definitely gonna try to keep everyone together.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this last week as well. We don't think that there's going to be a significant skill gap. It's because our the biggest like comparison is like for FPS games, right? It's like, oh my god, I can like jack the sensitivity up on my mouse like crazy and stuff like that. It's a mouse compared to analog stick. But the thing is, all of our weapons and our ships, the sensitivity is already capped off. You can't increase them any more than they are. So, and it's not as twitchy as some of these other FPS games. So that's the main reason why we don't think there's going to be a major skill differential between platforms.
When can we expect the PS4 build? Before or after co-op?
Oh, that is another great question. Can't really answer that until we actually iron out the kinks with our PS4 build, and that requires us getting to Unity 5, and there are already kinks with getting to Unity 5. So it's definitely a time-intensive process for us, and a lot of it is in Unity's hands and not ours.
Mm-hmm. I'm worried about the netcode for PS4. If PS4 players lag more than PC players and vice versa, I want the option to disable crossplay. So if a PlayStation 4 player like lags, it won't affect you. They're not hosting the game. It's our servers. Like, they might play worse if they're lagging, but that won't...
Yeah, I don't know what this PS4 netcode is, but it's our code that's running the games. It's our servers, so I'm not sure where that's coming from.
Yeah, so you'll be safe. We won't hurt your experience for the PS4 players. Will there be tools or ammo that are faction-specific to unlock for people who don't pilot for co-op?
Skills, new skills. It's a possibility, but we'll have to investigate. Right now, we already have to add a couple more skills to pilot and engineer for co-op. At least it's the plan. So adding 6 additional for each one is quite a bit. We'll have to think about it a little bit further.
Someone's asking, did anyone mention when they can dunk console scrubs? We have to update to Unity 5 first. There's a lot of work that has to go into there, and then we can look at the PS4. And then you can dunk and play with and play against all the PS4 people. Can we get a Guns of Icarus Online PS4 controller? Love that swag.
If we can work with any third-party manufacturers, maybe we can get something going.
And we have caught up to the questions. Definitely keep them coming, guys. I'm trying to think of other things that you'd be super interested in, office-wise. This is one of the terrible parts of me not being in the office, is I have to look at Eric and be like, so, in the office, like, anything catch on fire?
Oh, I'm not there.
Well, I don't know. Nothing really crazy happened at the beginning of this week, but I'm not in the office today, so there could be a fire. I don't know.
Or cake. Those are the two options.
Yeah, cake, yeah.
One end of
Cake
the
is
spectrum or the other.
good.
Here we go. What are each dev's favorite faction? So
Ooh.
mine is Mercantile. They're terrible, horrible people, and I love them for it. I know. They're the Mercantile. They're very practical. They're very means to an end kind of guys, which is why I like them. They're they have the indentured servitude, slavery kind of thing. They're just like, listen, whatever makes profits makes results. They've got a goal and they go towards it.
It works. It's a business model.
That's how they think. It's all about the business. It's all about the hustle.
It's all about that bottom line.
I don't know. I'm just very excited to test the new Caledonian weapon. I think that'll be really fun to use.
Oh, yes. The new Caledonian weapon.
So you're saying your favorite faction award hangs in the balance on which weapon's the coolest?
Oh, that's just that's what's on my plate right now. So.
I'm not sure which my favorite faction is. They're all great, so.
Alright, why do you name the ships after fish if they do not go in the water?
I don't know how that trend got started, but it happened.
So I guess a better question is, who named the first ship?
I don't know. Was it me? I can't even remember. It was either Jess or I, our former game designer. But they're not being named fish anymore, are they? What was the last ship?
Mobula.
Mobula.
And then before that was the Spire.
Yeah, the Spire is not a fish.
Before
the Mobula
was Pyramidian. Like, it was really only the squid and the goldfish.
Yeah, it was just those two. So it's not a. I mean, that's 2 out of 7. It's not a trend, I don't think, right?
So what was the first ship?
It was the goldfish. That was the first one. Oh, you know what? No, Mobula is a sea creature. It is a stingray.
Oh, and actually, the Mobula was codenamed Manta Ray.
Yeah, I mean it is really fat, so and flat. So that made sense.
I thought the first ship was the Junker. I've been wrong.
It's either the Junker or the Goldfish. They came in about the same time.
Oh, okay.
Like there have been previous versions of the Goldfish from a long time ago, even before the Junker, I think.
Yeah. Fair enough, Ski.
Someone's saying their theory on people are nice in Guns of Icarus because trolls lose too much because they don't work well with others. That is my theory as well. We have great people here because if you're just a jerk, you're not very good at organizing a crew. From a lore perspective, what is the oldest ship?
From a lore perspective, what is the oldest ship?
The ship from the first Guns of Icarus, correct?
Yeah, so it would be wherever Gabriel's ship landed. That is probably the first. But whichever ship is described, I can't remember. at this point, but whichever ship is, Arashi. Is that my dog or yours?
That's mine.
Okay. Where's my dog? Oh, he's down there. Whichever ship is described as Arashi probably has parts from has the oldest parts. It's like junk scrounged from the desert somewhere.
The junk is an Arashi ship, I think.
Yeah, so that has at least some bits that are really old, possibly.
Did you nerf the double carronade in the dev app?
Yes.
Byron's asking, why does Matt beat his dog? I could never do that. Like, seriously. Violence against animals. I've stopped watching shows because, okay, so I'm going to go on a bit of a tangent and I'll explain why my dog was whining. I hate writing that involves hitting dogs and animals because it's lazy. Because what they're saying is, I can't think of a way to make you upset or sad really quickly, so we're going to kill this dog in front of you. Lazy writing. Okay, my dog was whining, though, because she's a needy little thing, and my wife went to the store, so she's really upset that one of us is gone. She does it when either of us leave.
Aww.
Yes, 90. Yeah, so people are just talking about that the carronade nerf did happen. We definitely heard what everyone was saying. We got to feel it firsthand during the dev games as well. So definitely help us try it out on Sunday, 2 p.m. Because we want to make sure we got it right. It's not too much, not too little. Everything's feeling good. Oh, actually, people brought up a very good point. The Leviathan Juggernaut they're probably roughly tied for actual age. The big broken ship on dunes and...
That's true. That's true. That is a very old ship.
So, people are making the lore better than we are. They've got all the even wreckage named and probably timelined.
Yeah.
Finally, a fire extinguisher buff.
Woo!
That was not Sammy who said that, by the way.
Cool.
But actually, I can use this as an example of why you should send in well thought out emails. Because A, it wears us down better, and B, it's easier to read and act upon. Like Sammy put in a lot of effort. He put in a great email about why the fire extinguisher should be buffed, how he thought it should be buffed, and what the effects would be. And Eric put it in an hour later. Like, I'm not saying that every email you put in will happen. That is not. Do not take that as the quote. But the quote is, we love emails. We love your feedback. We love it when you guys put in a lot of effort and really show us, your thinking, not just, oh, screw this, or I hate this, or this needs to be better. But, the effects, what you're seeing, we love the information. It's great for us.
Yep. It definitely makes things a lot more easier to deal with.
Yeah. And what are the actual numbers on the fire extinguisher buff?
What are the actual numbers? Get a stopwatch. I don't like giving out numbers in general, and I especially won't give out numbers when you are testing. It is always better to go blind. So just know that there is an improvement to the fire extinguisher. I don't think we've even released that information. You just notice on your own, which is great. That's exactly what we want to happen. Is this good? Because once you start messing around with numbers, you can read Howard's posts about, data and stuff like that. It's, you start becoming biased. We don't want that. It's not helpful for testing purposes. A very common practice is the A/B testing method. This is used for like web design and stuff like that. It's like when you go to a website, it will load up design A or design B. And people will measure like the clicks or heat maps or whatever from either design, and they will iron it. Was A better or B better? And they don't tell you which one you get. You just get it.
Zainker was saying you can see the numbers on the tooltip facepalm.
Yeah, and there you go. If you know where to look, you can find it. And if you remember the previous values,
Almost got Sammy to get his stopwatch out.
I know.
Did you fix the vanished ground from last test? Hopefully. Hopefully Water Hazard has terrain again. Do not know what happened there. Alex said it should be good to go, though, so... what are some changes being made to the carronade, or do you feel that, or what do you feel the OP elements of it are? So, as Eric said he's probably not going to give out the numbers, but I guess a better question that he put for the second one. What do you feel the OP elements of the Carronade are?
What are the OP elements? I mean, I talked briefly with Matt about it. Personally, I always felt that if a blender fish caught you, it's your own damn fault for not like paying attention. But he brought up, it's like, oh yeah, in the shorter range maps, either if there's a lot of cover in like canyons or duel at dawn, then it becomes much more difficult. And I'm like, okay, that's true. There were reports from people like, okay, I'm balloon locked, but they've also disabled like all my engines and guns, and now I can't do shit. I need to repair the balloon, and I need to repair everything else. I can't even get out of the way. It's like, oh, that is very poignant. That is a good point. So, you know, to specifically address those issues, and especially now that you have stamina, you know, gunner stamina and pilot stamina, so it's like you can get in faster. Conversely, you can get out faster, but again, if you didn't notice, that doesn't really help. And also, you know, you have the various effects of gunner stamina. It's like, well, you can adjust the arc now, you can adjust the reload time, so that means I'm pinning you down more often than not. There are all those different variables that are at play here, so the changes that I made to the Carronade address all of those, hopefully.
Okay. And then the Admiral asks, what about a cave map?
Oh, cave map. Yeah, I mean, we've always wanted to do one of those. It is very tricky to construct cave maps. It's unusual because, you know, as we're doing a lot more unusual obstacle creation for co-op mode, there's an unusual like sense perception when you're piloting a ship versus what you're actually about to hit or not hitting. Things seem a lot closer than they are when you're actually piloting the ship. So it's very hard to judge. So that's the one reason where cave maps are kind of hard if they're in really, really tight spaces. Yeah, it's very hard to pilot in those kinds of situations. Also, I don't think we'll be able to do any like overarching type stuff because, at least in co-op mode, because our AI director just does really funky things. If there's like an overpass or something like that, it's just never a good idea.
All right. And any plans to make harpoons ... useful? It took weeks to get the 4 harpoon kill achievement.
Whew.
Yeah. I mean, you know, we've always toyed around with the idea of, you know, secondary fire and a harpoon. You can actually now make the choice of when to reel someone in. So it's just a matter of time when we actually get the opportunity to put that in. Because, you know, these things, it may be simple when you think about it and obvious, but, you know, it's just like, well, it's a code change, and any type of code change requires, you know, attention away from other stuff. So that's just how it works, unfortunately. But we know, we've thought about it. It's still written down somewhere.
And why do I suffer from collision damage when I hit the water? I think you should just kind of float there.
Possible. But then we've also gotten the weird things where it's like, oh, I'm just like underwater. There's no good solution for that, so we just made it ground. It's like, yeah, don't go in the water. It's not good for your airship.
Yeah. Well, and a big thing balance-wise is balloon popping weapons are then less effective on maps with water, like water hazard and whatnot. Which is definitely a different element to look at, but it would definitely change up some things.
Yeah.
So what is up with the shield that has periodically been talked about showing up in the dev app, and apparently was never intended to show up in builds, yet it seems to still pop up here and there. Are there any plans for that?
Yeah, there are ideas floating around of how we can use that in co-op mode.
All right. And then for hard to navigate maps, is Paradin not hard to navigate?
Yes, it's certainly hard to navigate. But not to the extremes that we're going to in co-op mode, or we've at least tried in co-op mode.
Have we ever considered other interactable weather effects, such as setting your own tower on fire, ice on the engines, turbulence pockets, etc.?
Definitely thought about a lot of those things, and it's just a matter of which ones do we want.
And so Byron talking about the cave. If it's anything like Depths, I'll hit every wall in the cave. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the biggest issue.
As someone who's played a speedy shark in that game, I think my nose is concave for my shark. So I definitely agree on that one.
Poor sharks.
They're trying to murder people randomly, you know? I think they could take a couple bops on the nose. The ships are full of holes, there's no reason they'd be buoyant. You see there, we've got a lore excuse. You're getting shot at all the time, they can't float. They're too full of just holes. Never meant to be submersed. I want to kill all my friends in co-op. Will this be possible?
You want to kill all your... Well, co-op, you won't be playing against your friends. Unless you're friends with the AI. What? Yeah, so that might be a little tough. Because you can't actually play against your friends. But if your friends are, like, on, like, you're Yeshin and they're Arashi, you can, play against their faction, but physically you will not be playing against your friends. So it's very meta.
Someone just said, are there mines in co-op? If so, then yes. Yes, you control your friends.
Yes.
That sounds like a great way to lose friends.
Yeah.
Well, actually, with the new Caledonian weapon. Yeah.
Eric's really enjoying being a weapon tease guy, so I'm sorry about that. We are starting to wind down. We are about 15 minutes away, so I'm going to open this up as well. You can include personal questions, so if you're still curious about me or Eric's dog. The Iron Fork of Friday is coming up. Jacob, do you know who will be hosting that today?
It might be me.
It might be Jacob.
You should probably figure that out.
Yeah. Looks like it's me.
But whoever it is, they will be hosted here as well when we discover if it's Jacob or someone else. We'll also put up a link so you can watch it. You can also go in-game and join the Iron Fork of Friday.
Yes, you can.
Let's see, is there anything else? But yes, Admiral, yeah, if he's talking about friendly fire, apparently mines and maybe the new Caledonian weapon that Eric keeps teasing might do that. So, but again, shooting your friends sounds like a great way to lose friends. Which one of you has the coolest dog? Oh, that's a tough question. Just because I don't think you'll ever... It's sort of like asking who has the best kid. You're never going to get someone say, his kid's really better, and I...
Pause it, come here.
Here we go. It's dog time.
Eric! Here we go. I already got you.
Dogs.
I
you're right at... Your dog's out of the camera, which, you see, you need to go more to your left.
Yay,
there we go. We got some dogs. Which breed? So we'll let you guys decide. This is Echo. She's 2 years old. But
let's see. Oh, there we go.
Yeah. Yeah, they're both being pretty cool.
I haven't got a.
Pause it. You're on TV. Look.
Oh, apparently Occam wins. Apparently.
Oh, really?
Why? The dog is so derpy.
My dog is too smart. She learned if she runs away from the leash, I have to get a treat to get her in there. So now she'll always run away. So I'm trying to figure out ways to defeat that behavior, kind of thing.
Oh, you got to be the boss, man.
I try, but she's a squirrely little thing. She can get places I can't to run.
Well, yeah, you have a Shiba, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty tricky.
Yeah, that's she loves digging and climbing are her two things. The little signposts that are re-elect this person. She has to try to go under those every single time. Because to her, it's like a little burrow.
Parkour dog.
Yeah, she is. She's a parkour dog. Non-Guns of Icarus question: who's watching the Daredevil series today?
Yeah. Holy shit. Are you kidding me?
I might. I've been watching The Wire because people kept recommending it to me, and I've been loving that.
Oh yeah, I actually I want to get to The Wire, but I'm also trying to get into Mad Men.
Oh, you see, it starts out really good, and then it gets weird, and then it gets weirder, and it's never bad, but it's never as great as it started out in my mind. So
interesting. Okay. I'm enjoying it a lot so far.
Good. I'm also enjoying Parenthood. So.
Parenthood.
Yeah, it's actually
comedy. It's a sitcom, right?
It's more of a drama. So it's if you ever saw Gilmore Girls, it's sort of like that, but heavier. So it's there's a lot of good humor and a lot of amazing writing, but it's also a lot of like this is realistic things that happen, and some of it's shitty and some of it's great, and it's never like, oh my god, you're my evil twin sister, like, you know, silly things that never happen. They're very like, these are the problems of people.
Well, I'm also watching Fresh Off the Boat. I'm Asian, of course. I have to watch it. It's the mom in that show is pretty freaking hilarious, I gotta say.
All right. Which breed of dog is the best? I would say Corgi. I love Corgis.
All right, we can handle that. Corgis are fine.
Which breed?
Yeah.
Mixed breeds are the best.
True, mixed breeds. That's always my thing. Dogs from shelters. Dogs that need homes.
Yeah.
Those are the best breeds of dogs. I like mixed breeds. I like a little bit of everything. My Shiba has some Corgi in it, so she got kind of a Corgi butt. And she has all the temperaments of a Shiba. So and she's tiny, like that size, that's as big as she's gonna get, so it's adorable.
Well, ain't that cute?
When stamina was just added, engines of stamina shift emitted a cool yell effect. Why did you remove it? We removed it because it was hated.
Yeah.
You were the first positive comment. Yeah. Why was it removed? Because the day we put it in, we got like 15 emails telling us we've ruined the game entirely because of that yellow effect. Jacob, ETA on your voice pack. Well, items are put in when the patches come out, so it'd be around then if he's accepted in.
Yeah, that's assuming that the Muse accepts my voice pack. Subtle hint.
I was gonna say, you've got an inside line to Tim. You can bug him.
Yeah, but you know, I'm not gonna do that. Why would I do that? That's favoritism. If nobody likes my voice pack, it's not going in the game. That's unfair.
Alright, there are some real questions that I missed. I am sorry, let me scroll up and see if I can hunt them. Oh, Sammy actually had a really good one. What would you say your biggest mistake in developing, what was our biggest mistake in developing?
Hiring me.
My biggest mistake. Well, let me put it this way. I've made tons of mistakes. I think the thing that I learned the most was like trying to explain stuff. Like, you know, some people will complain about different things, and at the end of the day, it's like no matter, you have to realize that a lot of people are going to be irrational about stuff, and they'll just keep on like arguing with you about whatever, and it's like I don't know who you are. You know, of course, some of you now who have been with us in the game for quite a long time, I do know who you are. We establish a kind of rapport with each other, and that's great. I love that. But there are other people who will just argue nonstop. I'm sure we all know people in our lives that are like that. So it's just like taking the time, I feel, to do that sort of stuff and argue is just, it's just a waste of time. Like, there's some like legitimate points where I'll just like say my piece and just leave it at that. I think that's the smartest thing. I wish I did that earlier, because I did sink in a lot of time and effort, and also emotional, you know, effort into dealing with all that sort of stuff. And at this point, it's just like, you know, if it's a small thing like copy or whatever, and you don't like the style, I'm like, well, okay, you can dislike it. That's fine with me.
Yeah, for me, I think my greatest mistake was my first foray into competitive, trying to hold, like, there was a couple events all around together. The Leviathan seasonal kind of thing was the first one. And it was really my first attempt into competitive, though, of course, I represented Muse, so I tried to do my best. And I put in a lot of love, I don't feel like I put in enough smarts, which is like, especially with, if anyone remembers like the old COGs or the Saturday skirmish that's happening now, there's a lot of great events that are happening now with people with a bunch of just pure competitive experience, which is why we try to get behind those guys who have so much experience and time. And I love learning new tricks, the way they handle their side of it, and what we can do to just improve it, and the way we can combine forces instead of, like, the big issue we ran into is splitting up the community because everyone had their own kind of separate idea. So now I like finding the best idea and trying to support that one. So
Yeah.
that is the biggest real moment you guys are going to get from me. Admitting my biggest mistake.
Aw.
I play guns all the time, and I've never run into the same person more than once. I'm probably not playing enough. I run into the same people all the time, so maybe it's just different circles. I don't know. I also do have a green name, so I get hunted down a bit.
Yeah, that happens.
It needs a broader player base. Sucks to log in and see under 300 players online. It peaks around 40 in the afternoon. I definitely agree we need more players, and we're going to have a massive event happening middle of May is when it'll be released, which we're going to have, a bunch of things happening. So keep an eye out. There'll be a bunch of new players, and then we're going to get a lot of complaints that, oh my god, there are too many new players. But that means you guys get to train them, bring them onto your crew, find the good ones, keep them around for us, kind of thing. It's definitely...
Yeah.
We'll be in there trying to help as well, but it's definitely up to you guys, the people, our most passionate players, to, kind of show the newbies the way. Like, we'll try to do everything we can tutorial-wise and, novice-wise, but they'll find a way into your rounds every so often. And with that, we're 4 minutes out, so 1 or 2 more questions. If anyone has anything that's been on their mind, if we do miss you for whatever reason, feedback@musegames.com. Always send us the emails. They always get answered. They're always logged. They're easy for me to forward to the guys they need to go to. Mandatory tutorials, Sammy asks.
Yeah. It's kind of a contentious subject in the office, but I'm going to put my foot down and say, yeah, you got to do it. There are always the main case against it. They're twofold. There are people who just don't like during tutorials, period. And then there's also, it's like actually a very common use case in multiplayer games. It's like, I played this game at my friend's house, and I installed it on my own computer so I can play with them later tonight, but I have to play the tutorial. So, yes, I think we definitely need mandatory tutorials. I want to make sure that happens, but at the same time, I want to allow players to kind of speed run through the tutorials so they can just like get it over with and just start playing the game. Those are the 2 biggest goals for me as far as how we structure, how we institute tutorials. As far as structure, yeah, we're definitely also going to be working on that. Hopefully we can get all those changes in sooner rather than later. There are a lot of things that we're going to like test people on. It's like, hey, do you really understand what a cooldown is? And like, if you hit something while it's cooling down, we're like, no, do it again, type of thing.
Yeah, you're not going to get to see what an inner Muse office argument looks like, because me and Eric are on the same side of that thing of forcing players to do tutorials.
Yeah.
So, if Eric gets to put his foot down, that means I've got someone to help carry the banner that we were in very much agreement with for. So Sammy brings up an interesting point. We add kicking into the game, but only for players who haven't done the tutorials. So you can only kick people who haven't finished tutorials.
That's the worst.
Yeah, but that would force people to do tutorials. It'd probably, make so many new players leave and be terrible. But it's such a cool idea. Like.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Is Tim working on any new ship aesthetics? So I guess any new like ship themes and whatnot.
Yes, he is, but I'm not going to be any more specific than that.
Gilder says, "I support your cause, Eric."
Thank you, appreciate it.
See, I feel like we've gotten back in sync with Gilder. There was a little bit of time that what we were doing was pissing him off, but you see, Gilder, we've listened to you. Got the tutorials, buff the squid. We're on the same page. All right, and with that, we are going to leave for the day, which means you will not see us until Sunday. That is 2 p.m. Eastern on Sunday on the Dev app. You'll get to see me and probably all the other devs I can rope into testing. I need you guys to be there. It's really helpful. The feedback's amazing. It lets us make changes. And seriously, if you show up and you send us an email on your thoughts, it really happens. It gets into the game. Like, the things that people put down. Carronade's too powerful in this situation. Boom, we're testing a Carronade nerf. Fire extinguisher isn't as powerful. Boom, we're testing a Carronade, or a fire extinguisher buff. I mean, these things, you say them and they get tested. Because we like it. We like trying all these things and seeing your reactions. So 2 p.m. Sunday.
Spire needs another buff, right?
Spire is powerful already. But,
Needs more.
Like, the thing is, like, in my mind, I always knew, like, I might have pushed the bar with the Spire just a little bit too much. And, of course, Howard loves the Spire buffs. But, it was his mistake for publishing the data. Now it's just, like, it's out there. People know. It's like, oh, my God, the Spire is OP for sure now. It's like, well, yeah, clearly.
I don't know. If it remains in that sort of... It's still underused.
That's the thing, yeah. But now the stats are out.
Underused.
The stats are out.
Yeah, well, what that would mean is just that people who are confident in it are good at it, but no one else really gets it. So it's all right.
It's fine because it's actually because it is the glass cannon. It's like if you choose it and you lose with it, it's a tough ship to use. So the people who are really skilled choose a Spire, and they are very good at it.
And
that represents a low percentage. I think it's okay.
Well, and when people just bring a Lumberjack against it, it's a hilarious ship. Because it just falls out of the sky. For the person who says, where do I email patch complaints to? feedback@musegames.com. Thank you, everyone, for listing that as well. I'm glad everyone has that drilled into them. But with that, we're going to head out. So, you know about the testing, Sunday, 2 p.m. And then Tuesday, Thursday, 5 p.m. We've got the dev game, so join us, try to win a free item by beating us. And then, again, Friday, same time, 3 p.m. Eastern, you can talk to us again. So until then, we're going to host the Iron Fork of Friday when it goes up. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you later.
Bye-bye.